Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Argon. Don't you just wish that we had count-wide mythic insignias? At least the ability to trade them in like we could with enchantments to get account-wide versions. Wouldn't this be awesome? Because the freaking cost per insignia is over 2 million each for a mythic one. And missing out on mythic insignias means you're losing like 7,500 total item level. Of course, you can have lesser variants, but that's not an option for min-maxers. And if you play multiple characters, well, you very well might have done what I did. Traded in my enchantments to get account-wide versions, so I don't have to worry about switching them whenever I switch said character. So if I wanted to switch over to my rogue, the main method to switch these insignias over would be to go and remove every single insignia, and then once in your inventory, move them all over to your shared bank, and then go and have to find again on the other character which slots where you want each insignia. So you probably would have wanted to take a screenshot before switching. Yeah, it can be a mess, but I got a neat trick for you guys that you can use. It will require you to have an additional loadout that you don't really use while mainly playing, and you can buy loadouts here, not exactly the cheapest. But that aside, even just here on my wizard, we only have the 2 default loadouts. It is manageable, and I have labeled it as insignia swap or insignia removal. Basically what it does is it switches to a loadout which is pretty much identical to my previous one, but the insignias are completely removed and they immediately get thrown in your inventory. And with the new bag management system, you can also have it set so that those insignias will only ever end up in one bag by clicking preferred items and clicking mounts and accessories. And that way, all my insignias will always end up in this bag. Generally, my setup is like I have my top bag for like some consumables and other random stuff there. And then my second bag is generally the one I try keep vacant, so when I obtain anything new, that new thing ends up in this bag. And then we could have the insignias ending up there, and then what we can do is very simply throw them all in our shared bank. Unfortunately, there's no quick code to transfer. You just have to drag and drop. A little tedious. I would like to be able to shift click things over there, but they will just end up in your actual bank, and if there's no space, they'll just error. But we can switch then to my rogue. And once here, very similarly, we can just go back to that bank then and grab those insignias. This time around, we can just double click them and put them in our inventory. And once we do that, we can then go to, let's say, our campfire to switch loadout. And you can see right now, we're on our loadout of insignia removal. We have no insignia slotted, and we switch to our build, let's say single target assassin, and ta-da! All your insignias are sorted. Excellent. The problem is if you go and ruin that. And it's very easily doable when, let's say, you have some of these insignias in the bank and you don't have, let's say, all of them, or you have them on another character. For example, these 2 eyes here, we have them there, and when we switch to this single target assassin build, you can see we miss those 2 eyes. And then if we're to switch back to the insignia removal, yes, it will remove them. But if we're now to go grab those 2 insignias, you can see that you get a bit screwed over by them not getting put in their slots. So you need to be really careful only ever to switch over to your proper build when you actually have those insignias in your inventory for the game to be able to equip them. Otherwise, it ends up not equipping them in the future. So again, the way you have it set up is you have, like, this is our main loadout where we would mainly play with this build. And then we would have another loadout, which is simply like insignia removal. They're all gone. And then we can go throw all those insignias again back in the bank just here and switch character. And again, grabbing them from our bank. Fairly straightforward. And once again, switching back to our main build. And we have all the insignias. And yeah, we missed one insignia there due to some lag. And well, then you would have to find the spot. So it's not a perfect fix, but it can save you a lot of time switching Insignias. So you might want to do that if you're considering playing multiple characters like I am right now, switching between the rogue and the wizard. And then you also have your healers, the bard healer and the paladin healer, who can also make use of the majority of these Insignias. And then tanks could as well if you're running somewhat of a hybrid damage build. Otherwise, they kind of want their own whole set. Personally, I really hope at some point they do add account-wide versions of Insignias. Maybe they can do the same with collars. But to be honest, in terms of a financial gain for Cryptic Studios, it's not really motivating for them to make them account-wide, because there is then that piece of you which is going to want to eventually try get more sets of Insignias for all your other characters to save you just that little bit of hassle. Of course, there will always be those people who will refuse to do so, like me. I don't see why I should get multiple sets of Insignias unless they become dirt cheap. But for now, here's hoping they add account-wide Insignias and potentially collars, but that not being such a big deal as you only have 5 of those versus freaking 15 Insignias to switch. Right now, they're the most amount of like one item that you would have to switch between characters. Even enchantments, you don't, I believe, have 15. Yeah, you only have 12. So hopefully this tip can help some of you out there. And again, a special thank you to all of these channel members. And we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.